What's going on, everybody? This is masterguil. Welcome back to more Adastra. In the last episode, we have followed Alexios to the island where he's been behaving suspiciously ever since we've been risen up from the dead. Because we were in a comatose state, thanks to this, what you call it, like disease, infection, Adastrapox, whatever it was called. And he's been acting very, very weird. Found out that he's a spy for Morpho, his home planet. And now that we discovered his little plan, now things have just taken a very different turn. And to be honest, at the time of this recording, it's been a hot minute since I did another recording of Adastra, so forgive me if I'm a little bit lost at the moment. Plus, it's like early in the morning when I'm recording that, and I didn't get that much sleep. I've been having trouble sleeping for the past couple of days. But then please don't worry. I'm gonna be just fine. I believe once I get into reading this, I believe that I'll perk right back on up. And let's not to mention that Neferu had his moments where Alexios said some very hurtful things to him that really hit home, ended him getting drunk and saying some hurtful things to us. We called him out on it, and all that we could do is just be there for him. And we had a little bit of a prophecy where Marco dies, and the parents tell us to submit to their will. I don't know if I made the right choice or not by saying no. To me, I would not do that because I don't know if they can actually be trusted. But Amicus seems to really, be all on board with trusting the parents. But we know nothing about them, and so we can't put our trust blindly to them. You know what I'm saying? So I hope I made the right choice there. I don't know. We did make another save point just in case we didn't make a right choice, and we could just go back and see what we do. So without further ado, let's get back into reading Adastra. I toss and turn most of the night, even when Neferu snores loudly in his own bed. I go over what I might be able to say to Cassius in case things go wrong for whatever reason. I find that difficult to do, though, especially considering how angry and unpredictable the wolf can be sometimes. Oh yes, that's right, Cassius wants to see us again, for whatever reason. Oh yeah, so we're trying to get him to denounce the throne since we have a leverage against him and Cato now. I managed to get maybe a couple of hours of sleep. But as soon as the sun starts shining through the opening in the roof, I'm up and ready for Virginia to come get me. That doesn't happen until about an hour later, and Neferu only lifts his head for a moment when the wolf enters before groaning and dropping it back to the pillow. I'm hoping that he doesn't remember what happened yesterday, for his sake. The amount of anticipation in the air is almost too much for me to handle as I follow Virginia to the throne room. It's a feeling that I haven't felt since the trials, since when I thought I was about to be able to fly back home. Now, though, it's the anticipation that I might be able to get Amicus out of the dungeons. We pause at the door, Virginia glancing at me. Remember, speak only if absolutely necessary. This is of the utmost importance. I nod silently. I get the feeling that she hadn't wanted me to come, but Neferu probably insisted. The wolf reaches out and presses the panel, opening the door. I follow her in and immediately spot Cassius on his throne, still on his little booster seat, but there's someone else here too. We had chosen today because Cato still hadn't returned from his trip, thus leaving Cassius alone. Now, though Alex is here, kneeling beside the throne, his head on the armrest, while Cassius strokes his head, the other paw occupied with a tablet-like device. He glances up. Ah, sister. And Marco? What was it you needed? Virginia is silent until we stop at the base of the steps. I come to a stop just behind her to her left. Cassius narrows his eyes as he looks down at us, probably realizing that this is no ordinary visit. Meanwhile, Alice just stares up inquisitively. I cannot pronounce that. I already butchered that. Looking innocent and oblivious as he always tries to. Brother, I have something very, very important to discuss with you. Cassius regards her for a moment, then glances at me. Why is he here? It involves him. It involves all of us, actually. Cassius frowns deeply, expression growing more and more sour. And what is it, Virginia? Virginia takes a deep breath. Cassius, you must abdicate. It takes Cassius a moment to take that in, but when he does, his eyes widen and his nostrils flare, leaning back in his throne like he's been slapped. Excuse me? I wonder if this is the best way to go about telling Cassius that we're about to try to take the throne from him. I look around, wondering if there are any drones that he might use to blast us with. Cassius, we all know that this is illegitimate. You must consider— Enough! I will hear no talk of this! From my own sister, no less! Leave at once! The young wolf is shaking in his seat, wide-eyed, ears flat. Well, you must hear it. I will not! I follow every protocol. I am on my rightful place. Leave now. I will have the drones escort you. Alex is sitting up straight now, staring at us, his ears perked, and I kind of wish that we could have him leave the room. Regina remains calm, simply gazing back up at Cassius with an almost stoic look. Brother, you must hear it, because we have proof of your deception. Cassius seems to have recovered from his initial shock, though he's still trembling a bit, chest heaving for breath. What proof? Virginia takes a deep breath. You know that we already know about the staging, but we have footage of the third trial. All of it. Cassius stays quiet, unsure of what to say. We have contacts in Adastra that will release it to the public tomorrow evening. Cassius swallows hard. I will close the news channel. Not only to the news channel, but in portable formats as well, and may be copied and spread. You will not be able to stop all of it. Cassius opens his mouth, then closes it, then opens it again, then closes it. He didn't see this coming at all. Finally, his shoulders drop and he stares at the floor. Virginia, how could you do this to me? Virginia frowns, actually looking a bit sad. How could you take the throne in such a dishonest manner? Mother taught you better. Do not speak of mother! Cassius' response is instant and angry before he deflates again. The silence stretches out for a while before Virginia speaks again. I know you, Cass. I know you're an honest, honorable wolf. I know you don't want the emperorship like this. Cassius goes on, staring off into space. Do you even want to be Emperor, Cassius? Virginia looks sharply over at me, but I ignore her for now, looking right up at Cassius. He turns his gaze slowly at me. What sort of question is that? Remember when we saw the parents together? Cassius instantly bristles, his eyes turning a deep red. You remember what they said, right? I don't remember. Sure. Anyway, you know what the parents think, what they want. Just listen to them. They only want what's best for this empire. Cassius closes his eyes, taking a deep breath. Why are you doing this to me? He says it quietly, and I'm not sure if he's talking to me, Virginia, or to both of us. Because we also want what's best for the Empire, Cassius, and that involves a legitimate emperor that rightfully sits upon the throne. I can't just abdicate. How many emperors have even done that? The humiliation would be too great. For the first time, I hear some resignation in Cassius' voice, and do actually believe that he doesn't want this emperorship anymore. I jump in again. We can make up any story you want, Cassius. It doesn't have to be a shameful thing. We can make it seem honorable, even though I think it already is if you do step down. Again, Cassius is silent, and I can only imagine all the things that are going through his head right now. He knows that the release of the footage with the story's image could cause unrest, probably to the my finger again, probably to the point that he'd never be able to recover if he remained on the throne. He already knows that he's been beaten. Alex, meanwhile, continues to sit at the side, just staring at the two of us. I'm surprised he hasn't said anything at all, and again, I'm not sure whose side he's on. Also, you needed to demote Cato from advisor, otherwise he will become acting emperor again. Cassius looks sharply at us. We know he's behind all this. That you're a puppet, Cassius. Cassius bristles out and Virginia shoots me another warning look. But you're still the emperor. You have complete power over your advisor. You can easily cut those strings. Cassius looks about ready to say something to protest. But again, he slumps down, just glaring at his knees. That would automatically make Amicus emperor. It's not a question, just a defeated statement. We don't say anything. I suppose he was always destined to be that. I was a fool to think I could make this work. Virginia's ears perk up, and I feel a swooping feeling in my chest like I just missed a step. Alex just looks up at Cassius, frowning. Cassius shakes his head. I'll need to think. You said tomorrow evening? The 14th hour. Cassie sighs, then nods. I see. I'll make an announcement tomorrow at the breakfast. I need to meditate. Certainly. Cassius drops his paw to his lap and picks up the glass tablet again. And just like that, we're dismissed. As Virginia turns to go, I quickly speak up. Cassius, can I see Amicus again? Oh, God. Marco, dude, read the room. He rolls his eyes. Gods, yes, in fact, he looks up at the ceiling. Come, set Marco's access to the dungeons as unrestricted. He'll be free by tomorrow anyway, I'm sure. Thank you. I bowed because it feels like the right thing to do, but Cassius only grunts in response. I then quickly follow Virginia out into the hallway, almost skipping with relief and excitement. I'm so sorry. Holy crap, that was easy. I whispered to the Shiva as she maintains that stoic look. It really was, wasn't it? It seems like Cassius isn't enjoying his position on the throne after all. Did he think it would be easy? I think he never looked past beating Amicus. Now that he has, well... I shake my head. If that was his only reason... Oh, wow. Only reason? Wow. I thought I told a buddy that. If that was his only reason, then he deserves this. Well, I don't believe that was his only reason. He simply didn't prepare himself beyond the trials. Virginia side-eyes me. And don't get too excited just yet. Nothing is final until Cassius says the words. Yeah, but it looks like he's definitely going to. It does, yes. But remain careful and vigilant. Also, Virginia pauses as we reach a branch in the hallway where we will part ways so that I could go to the dungeons. I stop and look up at her, stepping from one foot to the other, eager to tell Amicus the news. You've noted my loyalty to Amicus over the past week, yes? Yeah? At the very least, this would be deserving of some time of official position, don't you think? You want to be chief advisor, right? Yes, and you are very close to him. I'll get him to make it happen. The wolf almost looked shocked. I don't know why, though. I assumed this was always part of the plan. Thank you, Marco. Of course. I'll see you later today. I leave the wolf standing there, trying not to walk too fast on my way to the dungeons. Amicus is shocked while I'm telling the news, obviously, but like Virginia, he tells me to stay cautious. Anything can happen between now and when Cassius makes the announcement. And we're definitely not guaranteed an application during the announcement. Either way, I promise Amicus to come back down first thing in the morning to tell him the news. I leave in good spirits, and I catch Amicus' tail wagging more than he usually does. We might actually be at the end of this nightmare. Until... Marco? Huh? I stare at the ceiling, wondering for a moment where I am. Marco, your presence is requested at breakfast. What? I tried to focus, the memories of last night slowly coming back to me. I returned to Virginia and Neferu having a drink to celebrate our attempted victory. I joined them, and maybe I had too much. It's a bit blurry, but the splitting headache is evidence enough. Then I remembered that calm woke me up. Wait, breakfast? Yes, your presence is requested immediately. I didn't have breakfast with the family since Amicus was in prison. Why would they request me now? That gets me nervous, and knowing what's about to happen today. I look over to once again see Neferu sleeping in his bed, his fur uncharacteristically mussed up, just like yesterday morning. Bed fur. Or bedhead. Quickly, I jump out of bed, throwing on my robes and trying to straighten out my hair as I hurry out and towards the dining room. I wonder if Amicus is already out of the dungeons. Maybe he's the one requesting my presence. But as I reach the door, I realize that's not the case. Oh, freaking ambush. Cheese and crackers. Virginia, Cassius, and Cato sit on the beds while Alex kneels in front of Cassius. As I walk in, I can immediately tell that something's off. Gee, I wonder. It's a trap! The air is tense. I come to a gradual stop, unsure of what to do as the rest of them glance up at me. This looks like an intervention. Marco, this is an intervention. What you're doing, it needs to stop. I can stop anytime I want, damn it! Is that Marco? How nice of you to join us. Would you care to serve us our food and drink, please? Something is very wrong here. Did Cassius tell Cato about what happened? There's not much else I could do except walk over to Neil besides Alex, reaching out and begin serving the wolves. It's completely silent as all of them just watch me fumbling around with the food. Finally, Virginia breaks the silence.
Cato, is there a reason that you called us all to breakfast?
Cato turns his head in Virginia's direction. Can't I enjoy a meal with the royal siblings? I simply wanted to discuss my trip with you.
Oh, I see. It's just been so long since we've had a scheduled breakfast.
It may be a good habit to get back into. Wouldn't you agree, Emperor Cassius?
Huh? Oh, yes, definitely, Cato. How was your trip?
Wonderful. I had the pleasure of visiting Adrote, being the entertainment capital of Adastra. I had such a good time observing the plays, despite my inability to observe. Cato starts laughing loudly, and I could tell why everyone's on edge. This isn't like Cato at all. I set a plate for Cato while Alex does the same for Cassius, and while he's working on Virginia's plate, Cato shifts. Marco, could you hand us our goblets? I'm absolutely parched. I had noticed the goblets had already been set out in front of each of them, already filled with wine. Carefully, I hand Cato his goblet, then turn and reach for Cassius's. Fear not. These are the events that shall follow. I blink, and I notice Cassius staring at me, raising an eyebrow. I hold out the goblet, and my fingers twitch, but I keep a stubborn grip. I shake my head and push the goblet into his paw. Oh, that... Hey, yo, no. Something about to happen. Someone's about to get poisoned. Or an ambush. Something. Someone's about to get got. I don't like this at all. I'm about to grab Virginia's, but Alex has already finished her plate and hands her goblet as well. For a while, the wolves eat and drink in silence. At least, Virginia and Cassius do. I notice Cato not touching his food at all, simply watching the rest of us. Oh, yep, that's evident right there. Something's very wrong. Excuse me. Cassius lets out a loud cough. Alex sets a paw on his leg in concern. Yep, there it is.
Sorry, I had something stuck in my throat.
He takes another drink of his wine. Keep your mind and heart open, great ape. You shall receive guidance. My vision flashes as the tension somehow builds, and I know now that something terrible is about to happen. So, Cassius, I hear you have an announcement to make this morning. The entire room freezes as the wolves stop eating and Alex stops serving. Alexios told Cato, didn't he? Especially since, he was right there in the damn room. Why is nobody continue to pick up on this? And why weren't y'all like, yo, can the cat leave the room? Because I already know that he's a legitimate spy. And yet, while we're having this discussion of having Cassius denounce the throne, he was standing there, not saying anything, and it looks like he was given, as stoic and nonchalant as it was. I just can't. I sit there on my knees, trying to keep my breathing even, trying to deal with feeling like I have voices in my head, and with Cato apparently discovering our plan at the same time. Cassius finally speaks. Or tries to. He coughs again, harder this time. I notice him starting to shake, and Alex again puts a paw on his leg.
Cassius, what's wrong?
Yes, what's wrong, Cassius? Don't you have a speech to give this morning? You might have to postpone if you have a cough. Cassius suddenly sits up, trembling. He stares at Cato, wide-eyed, disbelieving, one paw moving to his throat.
Cassius!
He turns to Alex, reaching a paw out to him, which the cat catches.
I can't breathe.
Cassius wheezes, looking down into his goblet. Then he suddenly spasms, curling over his stomach before another violent spasm takes him, and he arches out on the bed, screaming. Oh, good Lord! It's a hideous sound, full of agony. It's so sudden, I'm left to just stare in shock, still on my knees. Virginia stands up, moving around her bed to get closer to Cassius. Meanwhile, Alex screams as well, staring in horror at Cassius.
Cass! What is it? What happened? Cassius just rides under him, even as Alex tries to hold him down. I notice his mouth foaming, red from the wine. The goblet still held in his paw before he drops it, spilling it to the bed and floor. Cass! Alex's voice is filled with despair, probably realizing at the same time I do that Cassius has been poisoned, that he might be dying. Oh dear, are you cramping, Cassius? Perhaps you ate too fast. The hair raises on the back of my neck, and I sense Cato sitting behind me. He found out about our plan. He put a stop to it just like that. Cato, this was too far! Was it the wine? I almost didn't register what Alex just said, but that's when I feel Cato get up behind me. In a few steps, he's standing over Alex and Cassius before he swings a paw hard into Alex's face. Oh my god! It sends the small cat flying so far that he's thrown up against the wall. He crumples there, unmoving. Virginia ducks when this happens, but bravely moves forward, grabbing Cassius and turning him over onto his stomach. For a moment, I think Cato was going to do the same to her, but he seems to get himself under control. Was it the wine, then? Well, who served it? He looks around inquisitively, even while Virginia sticks her fingers into Cassius' mouth, shoving them deep until the screaming wolf lets out a retch. Cato's eyes settle onto me. What did you put in his drink, Simeon? I stayed on my knees, dumbfounded. Then there's a splattering sound as Cassius vomits up his breakfast, and tinged red from the wine. Ugh. Ugh. Virginia stubbornly continues to gag him, forcing out every bit that she can. Well, I suppose we'll have to investigate, won't we? Come! Send a medical ship from Adastra City. Tell her the Emperor has been poisoned. Yes, Virginia. Cato looks down at me. Then before I can move, he reaches out and grabs up my arm. I felt the power of a wolf before, main one being Amicus, of course, but this is different. It's like he's made of stone. Cassius starts pulling me toward the door, and every step feels like my arm is about to be yanked out of its socket. Oh, unhand me! Hands off the merchandise! As Cato marches out into the hallway, I grasp at his arm with my other hand, trying to relieve the pressure somehow. The wolf stares straight ahead, ignoring me even as I try to pull away. I can walk! I grip my teeth, my hand already numb. I look left and right, trying to figure out how I might get away. There's no chance for that, though, as I realize we reach Amicus's room. Suddenly, I find myself on the floor as the wolf throws me violently into the room. I suggest you stay there. You have no means of escape anyway. I'll be back to discuss things with you. I'm sorry, is that a threat? There's some strange humor in his voice with that last part, but before I can even look back, the door shuts and I hear another sound. A click. Oh, bro! I sit in Amicus' room in stunned silence for a long time. I still haven't been able to comprehend the series of events that had just unfolded. All I could piece together was that Alex, for whatever reason, had tipped Cato off as to what we were planning. I suppose the cat had expected Cato to use such drastic measures, judging by his reaction, but he wanted to put a stop to our plans just the same. Again, why the hell were y'all discussing that in front of him in the first place, knowing that his ass is a snitch? And that he's a spy working for Amorpha? Oh my god, the sheer stupidity of this. I don't bother myself with trying to figure out Alex's motives anymore, though. Instead, I'm left to sit there and wonder if there's anything I could possibly do to get out of this. I soon find out the clicking sound was the door locking. I suppose that means Cato is the acting emperor again, with Cassius either incapacitated or even dead. I ask Kama about Cassius' health, but he only tells me that the information is not available to him. So I wait, sitting on the couch for hours, wondering if the next time the door slides open, it would be my death. I need Amicus. These thoughts become too much for me, and I have to get up and walk around, trying hard not to hyperventilate. Maybe Neferu will be able to do something. He must have heard about what happened by now, unless Cato did something to him as well. With a deep breath, I push past the curtain and out onto the balcony. Yo, is the city on fire? What's going on? It's already late afternoon, but that's not what catches my attention. Instead, it's the smoke rising over the city, the sun shining behind it, all to give it a strange red glow. I stare, wondering what possibly could have happened in a short time between this morning and now. Calm? Yes, Marco. Why is there smoke over Adastra City? There's a pause. Here's what I found. At approximately the 11th hour, Cato proclaims himself Emperor of Adastra Shortly after, Emperor Cassius was poisoned by a child pet. Cato then dissolved the triumphal race and assumed absolute control of the empire. There are destructive riots in all 7 major cities. Is Cassius alive? That information is not available to me, Marco. I sighed and stared out the water, feeling sick. I wonder how much of this is my fault, at least a little bit, if not all of it, for just being here in the first place. And now that Cato's framing me, I'm going to die. My vision blurs with tears before one drops down into the slushing lake before me. It doesn't even look like the late afternoon. This either looks like early morning or very late evening going into the night. And then I remember. I deleted my profile from Com's database. I try to remember what I was told about how exactly it works. Something to do with AI security system. While he might not be able to denounce what room I'm in based on my voice, he should be blind to my exact location. That would mean leaving the boundaries of the palace shouldn't alert anything. Maybe if I experimentally stick an arm over a railing, then a leg, and before I know it, I'm on the other side of the balcony, the lake slushing below me. I think about what I can do. I can swim for the shore, make a run for Adastra City, and maybe find someone to help me. Excuse me. Maybe one of those contacts that Neferu and Virginia kept talking about. I could also just hide somewhere, maybe even on the island, until things settle down a bit. Running into the city in chaos probably wouldn't be the best move. But I already know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to leave the palace. I'm going to find my way back in. I need to get Amicus. I need to tell him about what happened and figure out a way to fall back on our last resort. My stomach twists at the idea, but I know that we're out of choices now. With that, I look down at the water and let go. I plunge into the water with a splash, the cold taking my breath away in an instant. Immediately, I realized the mistake of jumping into the lake with a heavy rope. I'm able to kick out of the loose-fitting garment within a few seconds, though, and I start swimming around the edge of the balcony, toward the shore. It's not that far, but I start to worry as I feel my arms and legs burn from the strain, and even though the beach is right in front of me, it seems to take longer than it should for my feet to touch ground. Just as my limbs start to give out, I feel the sandy bottom of the lake against my toes. I gasp with relief, struggling through the deeper ends of the shallows before stumbling to my hands and knees, forcing myself to move forward until I reach the beach. Even now, in this moment of desperation, I have to lay out in the sand for a moment, gasping for breath as I feel my numbed limbs come slowly back to me. I suppose all the anxiety and no food all day has left me feeling weak. I finally realize how exposed I am out here, how easy it would be for someone to see me from the gardens, or even from the windows of the palace. With a grunt, I force myself to roll over and start crawling for the tree line in the garden, so that I can at least have some cover. As I crouch there in just my underwear, still trying to catch my breath, I realize how quiet it is out here. Again, it's a striking contrast to how violently things had changed just hours ago. Finally, after a deep breath, I start pushing my way through the gardens, walking through the foliage rather than using the paths. Without anyone's taking a garden stroll considering what's happened, but the one thing I've learned is that no one's predictable here. So I try to keep hidden, using the large exotic-looking plants as cover before leaving across paths or ducking into the plant life again. As I get closer to the palace, I try to think about how I'm going to do this. With any luck, no one's actually in the palace. It would make sense after what happened. If anyone is in the palace, I just have to hope they aren't Cato. It's also the problem of actually getting Amicus out of the dungeons. While I might be blind to calm, Amicus definitely isn't. I need to get to Neferu. He would definitely know about what's happened by now. Maybe we could come up with a plan if he doesn't have one already. He always knows what to do. Well, usually. I just have to hope that something hasn't happened to him. So, as I come up to the palace entrance, I look around, the quiet starting to become unnerving. I don't see anyone, so, swallowing hard, I jog to the entrance of the palace. The cool air of the hallways hit my damp skin and makes me shiver, both from the cold and the tension. I'm sure to keep close to the walls, always looking ahead to a doorway or a pillar that I could duck behind in case I see someone. Luckily, that doesn't happen, and I'm more and more convinced that no one is actually here. But before I know it, I'm coming up to the hall that holds Neferu's room. My breathing quickens as I get closer to the door, knowing that I would feel a lot better if I could just have some guidance. What happened to Cato? What happens if Cato is just in there? I've been here for a while, and I've gotten used to the way of things, but I'm completely out of my element now. I make it to the door and reach out, press on the panel to slide it open. The room is empty. Excuse me. I stared for a moment, as if doing that would make the jackal magically appear back in his bed where I last saw him. Then I see something on the floor. Green shards of shattered glass, wine bottles knocked from the table to the floor. An ominous feeling starts to blossom in my chest as I note the purplish red stains amongst the glass, the spilled wine dried from how long it's been there. I swallow again to wet my throat, looking to the ceiling, about to call out to Com and ask for Neferu's location before stopping myself. I don't know if actually alerting Com to my location is a good idea. I'm pretty sure the security portion of the AI is separate from the rest of Com, but I don't want to chance it. I stand there for a moment, unsure of what to do now. I could go around the palace looking for the jackal. He could be anywhere, really. But seeing the glass, knowing what's happened, I'm just denying what's obvious here. I have to hope that he's okay, wherever he's been taken. I lean against the frame of the door for a moment, trying to think of what to do next. I could look for Virginia, but I have no idea where her room might be. Besides, if the state of Neferu's room is anything to go by, I wouldn't be surprised if she's been taken somewhere against her will as well. Cato probably knows everything about what we're planning. There's really no other choice but to go into the dungeons, tell Amicus about what's happened, then maybe he'll know what to do. Just as I'm turned to go back out into the hall, I hear footsteps. I quickly draw back into the room, reach up the panel to shut the door again. Before I do, though, I hear something else. The sound of muttering in a very familiar voice. I linger just inside the room, listening as the voices draw closer.
Oh dear! Oh, Galen! This is too much! Too much!
I grit my teeth, listening as the cat comes closer, sounding like he's alone. I suddenly make up my mind as to what I'm going to do next.
I'm going to be killed! I'm going to be killed! What was I thinking?
At that moment, the cat passes the doorway. He got his paws up to the side of his face, too busy staring at the ground to even notice me. He's close enough that all I have to do is reach out and grab him by the straps of his robe before yanking him into the room as hard as I can. Immediately, the cat shrieks, the sound bending comically with the force of my tug. I swing him toward the middle of the room before turning around to quickly shut the door. Alex is still yelling as he tumbles to the ground, rolling several times before coming to a stop next to the shattered bottles. He curls up there, covering his face as he cowers to the ground.
Wait! I'm sorry for whatever it is that I did!
The cat continues to growl before finally peeking through his paws to look up at me. He goes quiet, though he remains fetal, as if deciding if he should be scared or not. Suddenly, he seems to make up his mind and quickly stands, brushing off imaginary dust as he fixes his face into one of bland disinterest.
Oh, Marco. I thought you might have been someone else. My apologies.
I glare.
What reason did you have for grabbing me so roughly?
No more bullcrapping from you. What the hell is going on? The cat finally stops fidgeting and faces me, though he doesn't make eye contact, staring at the door behind me instead.
Well, I'm sure you already know that, don't you? I'm surprised Cato let you out, to be honest.
Something about Alex's demeanor, not only the way he's acting now, but the way he's been acting for the past month, gets to me at that moment. I step forward suddenly, and though I want to hit him, I settle with just giving him a hard shove in the chest that sends him stumbling back with a noisy slapping of his sandals on the stone floor. What the hell, Alex? He windmills his arms, trying to catch his balance, and when he finally does, he brings his paws up to his chest, ears pinning back, and claws unsheathed. I don't know if Alex is good at fighting, but I'd rather not get raped by those things, so I hold off giving him another shove. Besides, he's looking scared again, staring at me wide-eyed.
Don't touch me!
I grit my teeth, forcing myself not to do it again. Then tell me what it is you're doing. Why did you do this?
What?
This time I step forward and raise my fist threateningly, and immediately the cat covers his face, cowering. I realize then that Alex doesn't have any fighting skills at all, that he might actually be a coward rather than just pretending to be one. This realization cools my desire to really hurt the cat. Instead, I just wait again until Alex lowers his paw, looking at me with fear. I guess that's a good thing. Amicus had told me in the past that a few sapient primates in the Galaxias are really only known for a few things, one being that they can't swim, and the other being their incredible strength. I suppose it's a good reputation to have, even if it's not true for humans, but Alex wouldn't know that. I take another threatening step forward. Tell me!
Alright!
I'm surprised by the cat's sudden exclamation, his eyes screwed shut that he raises his paw to his head fur, tugging at it in distress.
I'll tell you what it is you want if you leave me alone. I'm tired of this goddamn place and psychotic wolves and half-developed children.
I ignored that jab at me, staring at the cat, waiting.
I'll probably be deported soon anyway, if not executed.
The cat's voice catches his throat, and he raises a paw to his mouth, seemingly about to cry again. He really is scared, and that gives me an idea. Listen, I'm trying to help Amicus to his rightful place on the throne. Maybe if you help me out and Amicus does become emperor, I can work something out for you. You know how close the two of us are. I wait as he tries to gather himself, clasping his paws together before simply looking at the ground. He doesn't say anything though, so I sigh. Why did you tell Cato about our plan? Alex echoes my sigh, looking away off to the side. There's a lot of Galaxia politics that you wouldn't understand, Marco. Well, simplify it for me then. I might be half developed, but I think I'm starting to get the hang of how things work around here. And if I tell you, you'll help me leave this cursed moon? I grit my teeth. Yes. Alex side-eyes me before shaking his head. I became a pet for a single reason. Not for ambassadorial or Adastra amorphic relations. Not even to gather intelligence. I mean, originally that was my purpose, but I became close to Cassius over the course of several official meetings and dinners. My department took notice and altered my assignment. The cat goes quiet again. Alright, then what are you here for now? Alex takes a deep breath and looks me in the eye. Chaos. I wait, but that's all the cat says. I frown at him. You're here to create chaos? Alex's voice suddenly becomes monotonous. An unstable government creates an unstable society. Progress is stalled and outward endeavors turn inward. The society worries less about what is happening outside their borders or becoming more concerned with their own issues. It's like he's reciting something that he's heard many times before. Thinking about it, the explanation seems to have some reason to it. Alex's seemingly senseless decisions, shifting alliances, and general odd behavior could be explained by this. He's only here to make things more difficult for the wolves to integrate back into the Galaxias, to prevent them from progressing out of the technological and economic slump they're currently in. He's not just against me, Amicus, Cassius, or even Cato, but rather all of us at once. I think about the billowing smoke over Adastra City, what's probably happening to dozens of cities right now, and I suddenly feel an overwhelming feeling of disgust for the cat in front of me. A lot of things have happened on this moon that bothered me, but this particular act of sabotage is probably the worst. Just something about how careless it is, not knowing what will even happen, just that it will hurt the Empire, the people. Alex seems to look on my face and quickly takes a step back, looking away. I understand that it may seem harsh, but it's my duty to Orpha and the Glaciers as a whole to keep us safe from Adastra. If you knew the history, I assume you started the rumors about the Trump race and then pinned it on me. I may have started the rumors, but I never implicated you. But you knew it would happen. Alex opens his mouth, then shuts it, looking away again. And after I woke up in the gardens, told you about the doctor, you probably told Cato about a relationship then, too. Alex frowns deeply, taking another step back, looking almost like a child that got caught doing something wrong. I feel my face grow hot, not really confident anymore that I'll be able to hold myself back from caving this cat's face. Oh my god. From caving this cat's face in. Ugh. Maybe later, but this isn't important right now. Even if this creature in front of me is responsible for half my troubles, if not all of them. Where's Neferu or Virginia? Neferu looks surprised for a moment at the sudden shift in conversation. Well, Virginia is to be married to Cato later today. Oh, gross! My stomach lurches at that, but before I can even start to comprehend what that means, Alice goes on. As for Neferu, well, you don't know? Oh, he's going to be set up to be executed, isn't he? I have been locked in Amicus' room all day. I don't know anything. Oh, wow, I called it. Well, Neferu is scheduled to be executed, I think. I stare. What? When? I'm not completely sure. I woke up alone in the dining room and saw it on the news channel. No, when is he being executed? I don't know. It was going to happen sometime today. But it hasn't happened yet, right? I don't know. Calm! I cut Alex off, not caring anymore about alerting comms to my location. Yes, Marco? Has Neferu been executed? There's a pause. For a moment, all I can hear is my heartbeat hammering in my ears, and for a surreal moment, I feel like I'm going to pass out, and I have to square up my stance to make sure I don't go falling over. The pause seems longer than normal, like Com is having trouble finding the information I asked for. Then, here's what I found. The execution of Neferu, the pharaoh's second son, is to take place in the royal amphitheater on the 14th hour for crimes for espionage and conspiracy to murder Emperor Cassius. The execution will be broadcast live on in public. How much time into the 14th hour? 14 minutes and 31 seconds. Crap! What the hell am I supposed to do now? That's not enough time at all. Even if I could get to Amicus, I can't get him out in time before... The cat. I turn my eyes on Alex, and he immediately backs away again, trembling. Can you get Amicus out of the dungeons? I... In that moment, I almost slap him, but I stubbornly force my shaking hands to stay at my sides. Can you freaking get him out or not? I think so. Cassius gave me almost unlimited access to comm security. My heart leaps in my chest. Then let's go down there and get him the hell out. I turn to the door, but notice Alex still frozen in the same place. The look on my face makes him cringe again. Yes, but you won't let him imprison or execute me if I do? Alex, I will kill you right now if you don't freaking do what I tell you. The cat jumps and yelps as I scream at him, scrambling to head out the door with me hot on his heels. The cat was at least right about one thing. I would never be able to be a diplomat if that's what he really is. I follow as closely to the cat as possible, practically stepping on his heels. Alex is clearly aware of it as his ears switch back and forth nervously, trying to inconspicuously glance back at me every now and then. Halfway to the dungeons, though, the PSA system crackles over our heads. Citizens of Adastra, please prepare for an imperial address by Emperor Cato. Alex looks back, but I force him to keep going with some prodding in his back, praying that this... Oh. My brain. My speech. Oh boy. Alex looks back, but I force him to keep going with some prodding in his back, praying that maybe this won't have to do with the execution, or that Cato might be canceling it altogether. Of course that's not the case. Citizens, is a moment... I forgot to turn off my alarm. 1 second. Citizens, is a momentous day in the long history of our glorious boon. I shove Alex's back again. Just run. Alex does as he's told, though it's still not as fast as I like him to go. After 10,000 years, we're finally choosing our own path. We're taking control of our destiny. I begin to realize that after waiting for so long, unsure of what my own destiny might be, it's going to be decided today, no matter what the outcome might be. And that begins with showing our fellow siblings that we will no longer tolerate their belittling, their false sense of superiority, their arrogance. Alex and I come up to the door that leads down to the dungeons, and the cat awkwardly starts climbing down the ladder, having a great deal of trouble with his robes. And we especially will not tolerate spies, which I have kneeling before me as I speak. Hurry! I yell at the cat as I start sliding down the ladder myself, almost knocking him off as we reach the ground at almost the same time. The offer of false alliances, the whore of jackals, the flower of Khemia. Goodness gracious, the slurs. I follow the stumbling cat through the musty hall of the dungeon, and never having been this deep before, considering my meetings with Amicus had to take place near the entrance. We reach the cell door, and Alex presses a paw to the panel on the wall, a beige marble slab rather than the more glossy black panels above. It opens to a small cramped cell, a bed in one corner, a sink, toilet, and tiny shower in another, and what looks like a desk near the door. Amicus is in bed, curled up on the side, facing away from us. Amicus! I shove abruptly past Alex, sending him to smack face first against the doorframe with a yelp. Oh, goodness, Marco. The big wolf starts to stir before I reach him and throw my arms over him. I feel him jump underneath me, and I know I just woken him up. He turns his head to look at me. Marco? He sits up against my hug and automatically wrapping his arms around me. Wait, how did you... He looks over my shoulder. Alex? Amicus, Cato is emperor. He's about to execute Neferu. You need to... I choke on my words, not only feeling the weight of the information I'm just dropping on Amicus right now. You need to challenge him to combat. I surprise myself and I suddenly start to cry, realizing my own words as I say them. In that moment, I could see all the confusion, bewilderment, and shock on my wolf's face, his mouth hanging open just slightly. He probably wants to ask me a million questions, but in the space of a few seconds, I see his expression shift, his expression set into one of serious determination. Alright, where is he? The sudden shift from confusion to a sense of duty and confidence actually stops my crying, even as the first tears spill over. At the amphitheater, it's happening right now! For just a moment, the wolf continues to hold me, wipes a tear away with his thumb, then gently moves me aside as he swings his leg over the edge of the bed. Alex, can I leave the dungeon? Come. Let Amicus leave the dungeons, please. Alex looks up at the ceiling, clearly unsure of what he's doing. Shall I remove Amicus from the prisoner list, Alex? Yes. It is done. At that moment, I suddenly realized then that Cato isn't being broadcast down here. I don't even know if the execution has been carried out yet or not. Amicus hops off the bed. Alright, we must move. This time, Alex is not on. now, oh my God, why can't I talk? This time, Alex is knocked on his ass as Amicus practically steamrolls him out the way of the door. I jump over the cat as I follow the wolf. Though much bigger, Amicus is still just slightly faster than I am, and I sprint after him, his thundering footfalls echoing through the halls. He yells back at me as I follow. What up, Cassius? Poison. I don't know what his condition is right now. I guess out the answer, and I can't see his face as Amicus is silent, continuing to run. We reach the ladder, and Amicus somehow climbs the thing with 3 gigantic lunges, skipping several rungs at a time. By the time I reach the top, he's already out of sight.
So now, let this be a warning to Khemia or any other sibling race.
I run out to the gardens in the direction of the amphitheater. I just catch sight of Amicus's tail as it disappears around some trees down the trail that leads to where Cato should be.
We will not hesitate to eliminate you if you meddle in our matters.
There's a sense of finally to those words that I know that we're out of time. I'm on the path of the amphitheater, and though it only takes a few seconds to make it to the end, it feels like an eternity. You are on the right path. I burst through the clearing of the amphitheater just as I hear Amicus yell, "Stop!" I look down the steps to see my wolf standing at the base of the stairs, his paws out wide, standing in front of Neferu and Cato. The jackal is knelt on the ground, his paws are strained behind his back somehow, a look of dazed disbelief on his face. His face is forced to look up because Cato has a hold of his neck fur, tilting the jackal's head up so that his neck is fully exposed. In Cato's other massive paw is a shiny gold decorative dagger and is just inches away from Neferu's neck. Meanwhile, directly across from me, sitting in front of the statue of Drusus, sits Virginia, a wreath of flowers on her head, looking shocked as she stares at her brother.
I challenge you, Cato! I challenge you to trial by combat for the throne, as it is my birthright!
It's always hard to judge Cato's facial expression, but I can see the tightness in his jaw all the way from up here.
Who?
Cato glances upward, and for a moment I wonder if he somehow knows I'm there, that he can see me. But then I notice the camera drones hovering overhead, broadcasting this all of Adastra. The entire empire is seeing this. Why don't we wait until this is finished, Amicus?
It'll be wise to stay your paw, Cato, unless you're afraid you'll lose the trial.
The corner of Cato's scarred eye twitches. I can tell that Amicus is playing this all up to the cameras, and that seems to settle it for Cato. With a grunt, he pulls Neferu up to his feet by his head fur, making the jackal wince before shoving him towards the front seat where Neferu slumps down. And then the old wolf walks past Amicus, sending the dagger down on a long, curved bench as well, across the aisle from Neferu.
You know what, Amicus? I think you're right. This is something we should do immediately. We don't want to leave the Empire in limbo for any longer, do we?
Amicus watches the other wolf weirdly as he walks around him to stand in the center of the amphitheater.
It's best to settle everything as soon as possible.
I know that Cato was referring to all of us, Cassius, Virginia, Neferu, and me, and I'm sure Amicus does too, because he glances back up at me for just a moment.
Then let us settle it.
Slowly, I start to make my way down the steps, glancing over at Virginia to see that she's sitting completely straight, staring at Cato and Amicus, her paws clenched in her lap. I move toward Neferu, who's sitting on the front bench, hunched over a bit, and I can see metal glinting where his arms are being held back.
All right then. Trial by combat. Simple pugnu with no weapons, just teeth and claws.
Cato stretches.
I'll give you the advantage of sight, Amicus. This should be no trouble for you at all, eh?
Even though that's true, Cato still seems very, very confident. And he has every right to be, considering his skill at fighting along with the fact that Amicus has been locked up for several days in the cramped cell. He probably only said that to increase the humiliation if Amicus loses. If he dies. It's then that I start to feel dread and terror begin to poke through the numb shock I've been feeling. But somehow, Amicus looks completely calm, and I take some sort of comfort in that. Quickly, I sit down. Quickly, I sit down next to Neferu, and he glances over at me.
Whoa, Marco, what brings you here?
Though his words are casual, his usual smug demeanor is gone, practically blanked out as he sits there, slightly hunched. Are you okay? I whisper to him, and Neferu takes that as his cue to do so as well. The jackal shrugs his shoulders.
Not exactly, no, but I'm alive for the time being, so I suppose I can't ask for much more.
I look back into the amphitheater, wishing I were able to do something more. I try to catch Amicus' eye, but he keeps his focus on Cato, his own eyes narrowed. He looks confident, prepared, ready for whatever it is Cato throws at him. But I'm not ready. I'm not ready at all. That brief interaction in the dungeon, those few seconds of holding on to one another, that could be the last time we ever... I blink back tears again, and knowing that won't do me any good right now. Are you ready, Amicus? Yes. Then let us begin. Immediately, the two of us began circling each other, paws raised up to their chests, open and ready. The only difference from past Pugnu fights I've seen is that they're both baring their teeth. Amicus does it in a way that I've never seen before, not even when he was furious. It's vicious, feral, like I've seen wolves do in nature documentaries. Then they clash. It will be nice to freaking see it, at least. It's so fast that I'm not able to tell who moved first, but one moment they're several feet apart, and the next, their paws are clasped together while their jaws snap in the air, both going for the other's throat. Glistening strands of saliva go flying as they both bite and block with their teeth, ears pinned back, making hoarse, angry barking and growling sounds. It's something that I've never seen an Adastra and wolf do, not even in their fake dramas. This feels raw and instinctual, like it's part of them. Something they try to conceal, only to come out to surface when they're trying to kill. I find myself hugging my chest, feeling as if my heart might explode as I watch Amicus, trying to see if he's hurt, wincing every time I hear the solid thwack of teeth on teeth. It might only have lasted a few seconds, I can't tell, but finally Amicus pulls back and Cato suddenly lunges in for the other wolf's neck. Time seems to slow, and for a moment I start to think about what I'm going to do if I lose him. But then Cato's open fang-filled maw drops down, and so does the rest of him. Amicus sweeps his leg with a powerful kick. Cato goes down hard on his right side in front of me, wheezing before Amicus jumps on him, landing on the older wolf with his knees and a fist to the face. Cato doesn't even seem to notice that though, as he immediately grabs onto Amicus, their paws scrambling at each other as they both try to find a hold. They had a stalemate for a while, each one failing to find a good grip as they both twist and turn over each other, making snarling sounds all the while. At some points, I have trouble discerning the two. Their legs and arms seem to blend together that they grip around the other's body. I was never told much about combat to the death, even when I asked Neferu. All I know is that they tend to be very short, but it's already felt like an eternity. Suddenly, I'm able to tell them apart as Cato locks Amicus' right arm into a shoulder lock. While I've seen him done before, usually to get the other opponent to tap out, Cato immediately goes all the way, and the quiet of the early evening is shattered with a massive pop and crunching sound. Oh God! Amicus screams, and I find myself standing without even realizing it. It takes everything I have not to jump in right now, even as Cato leans into the hole, causing Amicus to convulse from the pain. Then Cato lets go, and my wolf curls over on his side, shaking violently, loosely holding his arm with his other paw. Oh, Vegeta moment. I want to go to him, but Kato's already there, pushing the younger wolf over onto his back. I should have done this a long time ago, pup. I knew this would happen. Amicus tries to fight back with his good arm, even his legs. They're trying to lock his ankles around Kato's neck, but the old wolf straddles Amicus' waist before slamming a fist hard into his nose. There's another soft crunching sound this time, and Amicus immediately goes limp, eyes vacant, paws falling to his side. I knew Cato was too skilled for Amicus, but for some reason I thought, these are the events that should happen. You are on the right path. But, am I? Marco, Neferu whispers hurriedly at me. Cato hits Amicus again, and even though the other wolf has stopped moving, and Amicus jerks under the weight of the slightly larger wolf. Marco, you must run. Cato likely does not know you're here. Amicus' eyes are half closed, unaware for his last moments as Cato pushes his rear down the other wolf's thigh, giving himself more room to reach Amicus' neck. Run to the city, to the woods, anywhere. I shake my head silently. Was this really meant to happen? Why was I put on this path if it ended in my wolf's death? Why aren't the parents helping me? At that moment, the light of the setting sun catches something shining to my left, the dagger. I look over and I'm almost blinded by the brilliant reflection of Vita's light on the blade of the dagger, the one that Cato had set aside after almost executing Neferu. Blue and red jewels decorate the handle, while the gold blade shines brighter than any metal I've seen before. The rules don't matter. Robotically, I lean over the aisle and grab the dagger by the handle. Marco? I ignore Neferu, and at the same time I see Virginia directly across from me. Her eyes are wide, and she's standing too, but instead of looking at the fight, at Cato's jaw coming closer and closer to Amicus' neck, she's instead looking at me and pointing. She's pointing right at Cato, silently encouraging me to do what I'm about to do. But I don't need encouragement. The rules don't matter. I jump from my seat. The distance is so little that I come down practically on top of the wolves. At the same time, raise the dagger in both hands over my head and bring it down as hard as I can into Cato's back. Why the back, though? Oh, that's a sound effect. As if in slow motion, I feel the blade slide into my target, very easily at first, like cutting through butter. Then suddenly I feel something hard, and there's an odd, muffled, stuttered sound of friction as the blade slows considerably. It continues to sink in though, and something bursts up a few inches, and at the time, it's only when the hilt reaches Cato's fur that I realize that I've cut into a deep into a bone. A rib, maybe. Cato howls, suddenly arching back, and I can only hope that I was fast enough and he wasn't able to sink his teeth into Amicus's neck. I'm not finished though, as I tug once, then twice, and before I'm finally able to wrench the blade out of the bone. For that split second, Cato begins reaching back awkwardly, unable to find my weapon before I drawn it back again, above my head just before bringing it down as hard as I can into the right side of Cato's neck, just at the base. Oh, there you go, right into the neck, please, the vulnerable spots, man! This time, the blade sinks in real easily, once again all the way down to the hilt. I yank it back once more, intent on plunging it in again, but finally Cato turns on me, blindly swinging his paws out. His fingers slap my right forearm as I'm raising the blade once again, and he takes a tight hold. Marco! His exclamation is part astonishment, then part fury. His other paw finds the dagger, and even though I try to hold on to it, he slides it out of my hand with ease, even though he's holding onto the blade end. Blood is everywhere at this point, and I can only hope it's only Cato's. I start to back away, trying to look down at Amicus to see what's happened to her, but that's when Cato swings at me again. I feel the air tickle my neck and chin, and for a moment, I think I dodged the swing. And then I see that he's holding out the blade, out to his right after having swung at me. Something's wrong. Something's very wrong. I look down and see a sudden spurt of blood, splattering the stones below me, then another spurt, then another. I step back and gasp, and when I do, I feel like the air comes from two places at once, and I cough as something liquid goes down my throat the wrong way. Again, I gasp, and this time I hear a bubbling sound from my throat, and I finally understand what's happened as I raise my hands to my neck, stumbling, and then falling. I expect to slam back against the stone seats, but instead it's against something furry and warm. I look up and see Neferu sitting over me as he moved to catch me with his lap. He's staring at me with a look of horror on his face. Marco! He looks up. Amicus! Amicus! Amicus, wake up and help him! I frown, still worried about Cato, and sure enough, as I look forward and just see the false emperor on one knee, clasping his neck, bleeding just as much as I am. His ears are perked forward toward Neferu's voice, and I see him start to make his way toward us. Khemian! The wolf's eyes are wild, ferocious, focused in the direction of Neferu. He seems to have already forgotten me, even if he seems to realize that he's dying. You caused this. I feel those words, you and this, carry much more meaning for Cato than I could ever hope to know. It's a strange moment that I lay in Neferu's lap, bleeding out. I suppose I knew Cato blamed the Khemians for most of the problems in the Empire. He tried to hide it by pretending to give Amicus a fair shot at the emperorship. As that slowly unraveled, his attention became clear, and so did his insanity. He intends to kill Neferu to completely kill any chance of an alliance, even if it means the complete destruction of the Wolven Empire. Somehow that's a risk worth taking for Cato. The opal draws closer, practically crawling now, leaving heavy splatters of blood across the ground. He weakly raises the dagger. I feel Neferu's tense behind me, probably getting ready to roll out of the way, but then something wraps around Cato's neck. With a gnarled choke, Cato is pulled back by Amicus before and being body slammed to the ground. Then Amicus, on the old wolf, muscle against his neck, tearing it apart. Oh, Jesus! I stare in shock, then look down, away from the horror of what I'm seeing, and that's when I see myself covered in blood. So much blood. My entire naked torso is painted red, and more of it continues to pour over my chest in waves, as though it's less than the initial spurts I'd seen when I was standing up. I raise my hands to my neck, still feeling the strange cold feeling reaching deep into my throat, like everything's open and exposed in the air. I try to talk, to tell Neferu that I need help, but only a raspy bubbling hiss comes from my neck. This is what we saw in the archives. I look up and seeing Neferu looking down at me. His expression again one of disbelief. I suppose it would be pretty shocking to see a friend with his neck open dying in your lap. Am I dying? I try to cover my neck again, but the gash is too deep. It feels like if I lean too far back, my head would just flop over onto my back. Vaguely, I hear Amicus' snarling sounds, along with Cato's raspy screams, sounding just like me when I was trying to talk. The edges of my vision start to go blurry, and black and Neferu's face starts to fade away. Then suddenly, there's a big shift as I wake back up, this time finding Amicus looking down at me. An overwhelming sense of relief comes over me. I do get to see my wolf after all. I smile up at him, even if he stares back at me with a look of complete and utter devastation. No, 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 please, get Felix. Virginia, tell Alex to get Felix. His tears start to fall on my face as I reach out, trying to brush them away as he's done for me a few times. He catches my hand before I can pressing it back to my neck. You'll be fine. You're going to be fine. It's not bad. It's not bad. I actually chuckle a little at that because this is very bad. I could tell without being able to see it. I see the edges of my vision blurring again, and my eyes seem to try to roll up around on their own. Amicus gives me a little shake that brings me back for a moment. Hey, stay there, okay? You'll stay with me, yeah? I nod deliriously, the overwhelming feeling of calm and warmth keeping me happy and full of love, even though I know what's about to happen to me. I'm here. I tried to speak, but I only sent more bubbling blood out of my neck. No, you don't need to talk. I have you. How unfair. My last moments I can't even tell my wolf that I love him. I reach out with my free hand, settling it gently against Amicus's face. I caress his cheek softly, knowingly, and though he holds it against his face with his own free paw, he shakes his head at me. Stop that. You're going to be fine. Felix will help you. We'll rest in my room. I'll take you to the island. I'll take you to the city. We'll be happy. We'll grow old together. Okay. The tears start falling over again, and I just try to keep the smile on my face to show Amicus that I'm okay, that I'm happy, that this is all okay. And though his creep is hard to look at, there's nothing that I'd rather be seeing in the end, my wolf's face framed by the pinkish reds of the sunset. And then, as my eyes start rolling back again, I can't stop them, no matter how hard Amicus shakes me. Marco, no! No, please, don't leave me here. Please come back to me. You can't leave me alone like this. I'm here. No. Speak to me. I'm staying with you. I drift through the blackness, feeling a sense of peace like I've never known before. Even though the space is empty, I feel it crowded with others. So many others. Or is it one other? I sense so many different minds and thoughts. It melded together as one. Hello. We must apologize for what has happened to you. It was not our intention for it to end this way. While not ideal, you have still moved the work of Mira forward. Though we intended for you to complete it, this can be done at a later stage, by a later symbiote. Thank you, Marco, for doing your part for humankind, for wolves, for the Glaciers as a whole. Now, go, be in peace, be one with the amalgamation of intelligence from whence you came. Thank you. I began to dissolve. I'm nowhere and everywhere. I'm never and always. I'm nothing and everything. All at once. Bruh. So if we don't submit to the will of the parents, Marco actually dies? Okay, bad ending confirmed.
Okay, so we just confirmed it. If you pick to not submit to the will of the parents, Marco just straight up dies. Okay, so now we know. So it's a good thing that we made a save point. I'm so glad for that. So let's go back and try to get on the right path this time and see what happens. I'm only going to put in if there's anything that's kind of remotely different in terms of like dialogue and in terms of the scenery and things like that. So if anything doesn't change, then we're going to go back to we'll cut to the point of course Marco dying again, and then seeing if there's anything different that happens. So be right back. Okay, so we have skipped through a lot of parts of everything that's happened up to now. It didn't take that long to get back to where we need to be, and so we're going to see now if things are different now that we selected the option to submit to the parents' will, which was, of course, the right option from the beginning. Hello, we apologize for what has happened to you. We know that you are confused. We told you that this could be prevented, and it will be. You will not leave him to be alone. Be at peace for now, for he will come for you. Wait for him. Amicus is the victor. All hail Emperor Amicus. The words sound hollow in Amicus' ears, and so does the faint roar of the crowd in the Adastra city all the way across the lake. The wolves can only stare down at the human in his arms, suddenly realizing how light and fragile he actually is. And the blood. So much blood that paints the front of his human that just moments ago had been so full of life. A tear drops from the tip of Amicus' nose and onto Marco's back, mixing with the blood that has now stopped flowing from the deep gash. Air no longer bubbles through the red liquid either. A strange choking sound works its way out of Amicus' lips, one he's never heard himself make before. The overflowing sadness in his heart has seemingly run out to be replaced by something empty, cold, like there's nothing there anymore. Still, Amicus wills the human to live, to use those special healing abilities he seemed to possess, to breathe again. But even as Virginia moves to find Felix, Amicus knows that nothing can be done for something like this. Cato has very nearly beheaded the human, cutting through everything that was important. Cradling Marco's head carefully, Amicus raises the young human to his chest, hugging him tightly, squeezing his eyes shut and feeling the welling tears pour out over his cheeks and down his chin and through the human's hair. It's quiet, and Amicus opens his eyes to see Neferu still sitting there in front of him, staring in shock. When the jackal meets his eyes, he quickly dips his head, lowering his ears. Amicus, I'm so sorry. The wolf raises his eyes to see the drone just over Neferu's head, hovering as his lens focus voyeuristically on him, broadcasting his grief to Adastra. But this is nothing like those dramas, the tragedies of romantic death he's seen play out on the screen so many times before. There is nothing romantic about this, as Amicus assures his audience is finding it to be right now. This is real death, and the feeling is familiar. It's hollow, empty, suffocating, like being pulled down into a bottomless cold black ocean. It's like whether mother died and Cassius had screamed over her body like a wounded animal. It's like when he heard the news father had died and how he had fallen to his knees, clutching his chest and gasping for air like he'd been shot. But this is worse, somehow, and Amicus can't even comprehend it. It hits him harder than anything he's felt in his life. Everything is going gray, the color being sucked from his vision, from his life. And even though he's not sobbing now, the tears are flowing freely down his cheeks. He isn't sure how he can recover from this all. He knows he probably never will. This is his fault. He'd forced the human here. He made himself feel better by saying Marco had a choice in the matter, was free to do as he pleased. But that wasn't true at all. He'd taken a human's life, just as Cato had now. Amicus realizes then that he's no different from the wolves he thought himself to be above, and that he was more enlightened somehow in trying to hold all sapient life as equal. He's even worse. And even though it would break his heart to never have met Marco, Amicus only wishes that he had never brought him here in the first place, to his death. The thought brings another wave of heart-wrenching grief to crash through his hollow chest, and for a moment, he almost can't breathe. Please, Marco. The young one whispers to the human's hair. his voice now only a soft whine as fresh tears blur his vision. His teachings since he was a pup begin to come to mind. Marco's soul, like the soul of all saviors, is ascending to the greater intelligence, mingling with the lives of billions of others, with his father, his mother, maybe Cassius too, a place he'd also join one day. But the human soul belonged here, in his arms, not to be mixed and consumed by the parents, not yet. That mixed, singular being isn't Marco. It's like a beautiful mural being shattered, then reconstructed to something else. Marco still exists. At this very moment he exists, but it's no longer him. Amicus grits his teeth, feeling anger begin to overcome the overwhelming grief. No. 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 How dare they? This isn't fair. The parents had spoken to Marco, had told him what to do, had led him to this point. When the human had told Amicus that he was worried about something terrible happening, Amicus grits his teeth. Remember how he brushed it off, even though he told Marco he believed him, that he had nothing to worry about if he followed their guidance. No. Amicus shakes his head, still clutching onto the human tightly. Amicus? Neferu's voice is tentative, almost fearful, like he's worried about what Amicus might do. Amicus isn't sure of it himself that he rises to his feet, cradling the human in his one single good arm, easily able to do so because of their difference in size. He turns and walks quickly toward the palace, almost jogging, ignoring the various jolts of pain throughout his body. He doesn't even glance down at Cato's unmoving body as he passes by. The wolf's expression is stoic now, and strange rays bubbling just under the surface. Amicus! Neferu calls after him, but Amicus ignores the jackal, set on one thing and one thing only. The parents might have taken his parents, maybe even his brother, but they're not going to take his human. He won't allow it. As the wolf enters the palace, he notices Alex pacing the hallway. He stops and sees the wolf approaching. Amicus! I heard that you're now the emperor and... He trails off and sees Marco cradled in the wolf's arm. The blood covering the body, flowing down limply hanging arm to drip gently from the fingertips. Amicus brushes past the wolf, eyes set straight ahead, expressionless. Nothing seems to exist outside the wolf's tunnel vision. Soon, he comes to the door he's looking for and leans forward, pressing his injured shoulder to the panel to open it, ignoring the blaze of pain that shoots through him as he does. Amicus approaches the archive, glancing at the orb, as if the machinery itself is the parents. The big wolf comes in to step in front of it, staring up at the glowing blue structure for a moment before looking down at Marco. The ashy color of skin is unnerving, so different from the deep tones it once had. Marco is dead. Amicus knows that, but he won't accept it. The wolf presses his face close to the human's for a moment, feeling the fading warmth before kissing him gently on the top of his head. With that, Amicus leans forward, pressing them both into the spear. Then he connects, and he merges with the universe. We continue to drip through infinite space, content. Despite everything, we trust the beings all around us, all of us and the others, the parents. The parents. This is all meant to happen, and though it was hard and terrible, the worst is now over. And that thought alone is enough to keep us completely relaxed, waves and waves of relief washing over us. In that cacophony of thoughts and emotions through, something stands out. Though the beings meld together, one seems to be separate for a moment, solely to focus directly on us. On me. This brings me out of my trance for a bit as I turn my attention on them. Amicus? But then, as I focus on this being, I get a different feeling. Not him, but her. It seems like she wants to speak to me. She's not familiar, not someone I've spoken to before, but the intensity is which she is focusing on me. Hello? I reach out, but then suddenly the acclamation of intelligence begins to pull away as I feel myself extracted from its mass. The feeling is bizarre, and I almost miss the crowd of thoughts and feelings, being one with many. Then I feel myself again. My body beginning to materialize out of nothing. The nothingness surrounding me slowly becomes something. For a moment, I'm floating in the air, and then I'm being held by something strong and solid. The first thing I see is Amicus's face. He's looking down at me, grim and determined. Just as I focus on him, though, his expression changes. Marco? I shift a little, trying to focus better on my wolf. Marco! Suddenly, I'm surrounded by fur, getting squeezed tight against Amicus, my face pressed against his neck. Instinctively, I wrap my arms around him. Oh gods, are you real? Tell me you're real, Marco. Please. He gasps out the words, like it's coming up for air after diving into the bottom of the lake. I remember trouble remembering things, why he seemed so upset. But I know something bad happened, and now it's over, so I try to comfort him. I'm real. I'm here. My voice is strange, like I haven't used it in a while. At first, I'm thinking I'm back in Amicus' room after I woken up from the coma, still trying to convince myself that everything is okay. That we'd gone to sleep and just woken up as he wants to be reassured again, and I'm not going to disappear. But then I remember that Cato came in that morning. Things fall into place like a long row of giant, heavy dominoes. I suddenly sit up a bit against Amicus' chest, pushing back so I can look up at him. Wait, it's the fight! Cato! Amicus, are you okay? I look him over, trying to check his wounds. The blood is swelling that I had seen at the amphitheater is gone, though. He's clean and well grown, and his arm seems fine, judging by his sturdiness underneath me. My brief look at him was ended, though, as Amicus suddenly yanks me back against his chest, sobbing against me. I've seen Amicus cry before, back at the dungeon, but not this gut-wrenching sobs that I could feel heaving through my own body. It serves to shock me to my senses even more. Finally, I pushed back against his chest, creating a space between us so I could hold his face in my hands. He just looked back at me, crying openly, and I watched as the tears well out of his eyes and seemed to disappear into the fur of his cheeks. I'm sure we both want to say a lot at this moment. What happened? What's happening now? What will happen? But at this particular moment in time and space, we're back together. It's impossible, but it's happening. So I cling to him again, and he just holds me as I press my face against his chest, listening to his hammering heart, squeezing my eyes shut. If this is eternity, then I'm completely fine with it. I'm not sure how much time passes, but as though thought crosses my mind a few times, my eyes suddenly fly open. I press back again, looking up at the wolf, holding his face again. Wait, if you're here, did you? I wondered suddenly if maybe Amicus had been seriously wounded in the fight, and that he didn't make it after all. But Amicus shakes his head gently, his sobs having quieted to subdue sniffles and hiccups. No, I'm fine. I won. Cato's dead. I'm flooded with relief. He strokes my hair gently, slowly, and I wonder why he still looks so sad. But how are you here? Aren't I? I look around the infinite space surrounding us. The stars and planets are usually close, stunningly bright, and unimaginably vivid. The blues, purples, and blacks are deep and monolithic, signaling the endless space that stretches beyond. Am I dead? Amicus pulls me back against him, forcing me to look away from the churning universe. No, you're here. It sounds more like he's convincing himself rather than me. But where is here? Amicus is quiet for a moment, and I find myself content to lean against him for a while, just wanted to be close to him. At some point, Amicus has sat down, and I'm cradled in his lap. Considering we're not just floating around in zero gravity, I have to assume there's something solid underneath us somehow. Amicus sniffles again. I melded my mind with the archive to speak to the parents. That's all I know. I think. Did I do the same then? I was holding you when I did it. My neck. The blood. I look up at him again. Amicus, am I alive? Amicus looks at me for a moment before his face screws up and tears well up again. I don't know. He whines out the words as I immediately hug him again. Hey, I'm okay, see? I'm here. Another sobbing fit starts, and now I know why. I must have died, and now for whatever reason, the parents had let us reunite somehow. And I know that Amicus must be wanting the same thing that I am. How long is this going to last? I try to think of what to say in case it's our last moment together, in case I'm going to be absorbed again. But my mind comes up short in the weirdest of ways, only able to think of things that don't matter. So I settle on what did just happen. You're emperor now, Amicus. Amicus nods against me, not trusting his voice at the moment, apparently. I'm so happy for you. Now he shakes his head, smearing tears against my cheek. I hate seeing him like this. I hate that this might be the last way that I'll see him. Please don't cry. Let's just be together right now. I sit up straight and pull his head against my chest for once, cradling his massive form against me, caressing his ears and neck. I'm okay. I promise you. I went somewhere when I died. The word is so strange to say. It was really nice. Full of people. I wasn't alone. It was peaceful. Something that we didn't see. Amicus takes a huge shuddering breath, finally pulling me back from my hug. That's wonderful, Marco, but I'm sorry, because I'm not letting you go back there. Amicus suddenly looks resolute as he smirks through the tears. You're coming back with me. His voice breaks several times, and I can tell that he really means it. He really is certain that he's going to drag me back from the dimension of the dead. I don't know what to say. I don't know much about the parents or the afterlife, but Amicus must, so I trust him. I smile up at him. Okay. He smiles back at me, and then very suddenly kisses me. It's rough and wet. It's rough and wet, and he kind of misses my lips, but I kiss back, holding him tightly. Once he finally draws back, I'm happy to see my boy back to his usual confident self, even if he has to keep sniffling with his runny nose. Ew. I look around in the swirling cosmos again. Can you just get us out? Amicus frowns, looking around himself. This is actually my first time doing this, so I'm not sure. Amicus looks behind us, then up and down, then clears his throat. Calm? Calm while you're here? Silence. I can tell that Amicus is already out of ideas. The parents are doing this, right? I think so, but though I've never spoken to them, you actually have more experience with that. Amicus grins at me, then looks back up. Maybe we walk back? I give Amicus a strange look, and I just am about to point out the absurdity of walking back to Adastra, though, through infinite space, a booming presence makes itself known.
I suppose you're finished.
Amicus and I both jump as the wolf leaps to his feet, keeping me held in his arms. Who's there? Amicus shouts into the void, snarling. It's okay, Amicus. It's just the monitor. I say it like he's just an old friend of mine. Amicus doesn't lower his guard, however, and continues to growl into space. The monitor expresses his amusement in that silent way of his, but I can understand why Amicus isn't letting his guard down. It's evident in the way he's holding me, clutching me tightly to his chest. He's afraid I'm going to be taken back from him. I am too.
If you are, I'll open the channel of communication now.
Amicus raises an eyebrow. What the hell are you talking about?
You wish to speak with the parents, correct? And they wish to speak directly with you, at least as directly as is possible.
There's a pause. I can see the gears turning in Amicus' head as his ears flick. Yes.
Then it is done.
The monitor's presence vanishes, and suddenly there's another one. Not one, but many, similar to what I had felt earlier. This is still different. Instead of melding together, these entities are distant and separate from each other, but they're so similar that they could be copies of a single person. Their intentions feel disturbingly uniform, that they're all on the exact same path. Unlike the monitor, who at least felt to be on a similar level as any other sapient, these entities feel alien, which is a strange thing to feel after everything I've been through, but these are all so different. So different. Well, show yourself. Amicus barks at the emptiness, somehow remaining brave in the face of all the titanic presences. You cannot see us. His mouth moves on his own, mine suddenly becoming empty, seeming to blend in with the space around him. Amicus looks down at the human in confusion. What? He stares back. We cannot speak directly to you, Marco, but we have other methods. Amicus' face morphs from confusion to horror. Gods! Marco? He gives the human a little shake. Hey! He can hear you. He is simply occupied at the moment. Amicus bares his teeth as he begins to shake. He's not sure if this is from anger or fear. Likely both. If you don't stop, there is no need to threaten. All is as it should be. Amicus is left to stand there, staring open mouthed at his lover. Something ominous and dark churns in his gut. This isn't how he envisioned any of this at all. These are the parents? What the hell are you? We are your guide, your benevolent leader, your parent. Amicus rubs a paw over the human's forehead gently, looking into those blank staring eyes. Leave him be, please. He is not being harmed. He shall return to a normal state after the channeling is complete. But how? Simply put, we are manipulating his behavior through the use of the lingua. Amicus shakes his head, clearly not wanting this at all, but the complete powerlessness he feels right now, it's overwhelming. The speech he'd been planning for this moment, his intention to tear apart the careless arrogance of the parents, it just dissipates. Seeing Marco just taken by them like this is enough to completely cow any courage he once had. And as he stares at the cold eyes of the human, he begins to wonder if this is a nightmare. For a brief moment, Amicus wonders if this is real, what reality even is right now. That is not for you to wonder, Amicus. All that matters is that you're the one true emperor. What do you want? Amicus stares down at his human, feeling repulsed by what's happening. For the work of Trucius to continue, for Adastra to achieve its full potential at last, for the Galaxias to ascend. Amicus shakes his head, trying not to focus on the robotic tone of Marco's voice, on the strange way his jaw moves, forced to speak in a woven tongue. I I intend to do so, but please, let the human go and heal him, please. He didn't ask for any of this.
The human is also involved, Amicus.
But I involved him.
It was meant to be.
What?
Amicus isn't sure if it's his own mind or the mind of another that brings back the memory of when he opened up the archives, how Earth had been near the top of the list of profile planets. How it made no sense that the uncontacted world would be on that list at all. But now it does make sense, but at the same time, even less sense. Amicus shakes his head, still reeling at the situation he's in, feeling that he's teetering on the edge of madness.
Steady. There are many things that you do not understand, and things that you will never understand, and that is fine. Not all things are meant to be understood by all sapiens, but you at least understand that the humans are not uncontacted, are they?
Amicus says nothing, knowing that this mind is being read.
Somehow, woven culture is there. So is Khemian culture, Hindu culture, all sibling cultures.
The parents go silent as Amicus is left to stare at the puppet his lover has been turned into. Amicus grits his teeth. Why?
Because they were an experimental microsome, and now a successful one, and it's now time for them to be integrated into the Galaxias.
Another moment of silence.
And you want me to help do this? No. Your mission is to help unite the siblings. The first step is Khemia.
That was already my intention.
That is questionable. The situation is perilous. Khemia is furious after what has happened. You need more guidance. That's why you are here.
Amicus snarls. I'm here for him! Amicus nods at Marco, at the sapient creature being used as a mouthpiece.
You are here for the Galaxias, and as Emperor, you now have the honors to know all this information, as your father knew, as his father knew, and so on.
Amicus grits his teeth again, trying to comprehend what is being told to him, despite being completely disturbed by what's happening to Marco. If you want a galactic integration, then why have we been competing with each other?
This was assumed by the siblings themselves. Competition was never the goal.
Then why not tell us that? You're supposed to be our guide.
The process is slow and careful. Interference is a last resort. This very communication is the last resort, as the siblings and children stray further and further from the path every day, and not just the wolves. It has taken 20,000 years to reach this point, and that time cannot be wasted.
Then why are you telling only me this, and not all the sapiens in all the Galaxia? Amicus glares at the face of the human again, stroking the face gently, hating the blank stare he's receiving.
As was stated, minimal interference was result in the best outcome. Only select figures are being informed at this stage. At Galaxias develop independent interference will better serve the greater cause as a whole.
The greater cause? The stars and planets shift around them, zooming forward, and for a moment Amicus feels as though he might be sick. Something dark looms on the edge of the universe, and growing slowly, leeching the parts that it touches.
The other approaches, and it must be confronted.
At this point, Amicus feels unease pierce through his fog of confusion and anger. What other? Are we preparing for war against something?
We must prepare for an event that many millennia from now. This is one step of many.
Amicus lets out a low growl of frustration, the vagueness of the entire situation making his head ache. But what does this have to do with Marco? Amicus shifts his hold on the human, just wanting him to come back to consciousness.
He must play a role, and you must make a decision, Amicus.
Everything seems to come together at once for Amicus. All this talk of Drusius, of his and Marco's apparently fixed destinies, that decision that wolves fawned over for generations, no matter what opinion they had about Drusius himself, the choice offered by the parents to either save his empire or save his lover. Icy cold fear and dread blooms in the pit of Amicus' stomach and slowly spreads throughout the rest of his body, seeming to leak like a frigid liquid down his groin into his legs. The wolf feels his limbs tremble as he pulls the human closer to his chest, lips drawing back as instinct kicks in to protect his mate. For a long while, a length of time that's hard to discern, the wolf simply stares into the abyss. He looks up into the swirling stars, clouds, and planets, trying to see these things that are controlling and manipulating him and his lover. Trembling, Amicus shakes his head, taking another step back away, even though his presence of the parents is all encompassing. No. Amicus jaws clenches, hating himself for sounding so weak and afraid. Remembering who he is, the wolf squares his shoulders, glaring up into space. No! I won't make such a decision! For once, the unseen place
At which the parents beside is silent, but clearly observant. Amicus could feel the prickle of their all-seeing eyes on the nape of his neck. You hear me? I won't do it. I'll stay here forever if I have to. You can't involve us in your foolishness. Marco suddenly shifts in his grasp, his head turning awkwardly, leaning up in the way that seems unnatural as if pulled up by the strings. Amicus flinches back, feeling a chill run up his spine as he tries to stop himself from dropping the human he knows so well. Foolishness? Marco stares at him with an expression that Amicus has never seen him make before. It's cold and almost dismissive, an expression that Amicus has never seen him make before. How does the situation in which the lives of a trillion sapiens teeter on the brink of annihilation call for such childish statements? And tell us, in what universe would attempts to avoid such a catastrophic outcome be considered foolishness? The human suddenly tilts his head in an unnatural way, leaning in closer into the wolf, and Amicus gasps, setting a large paw against Marco's face, trying to stop the strange, inhuman movements. Stop that! Don't hurt him! The human holds the position for a moment. This seems to slowly relax back into the wolf's arms. Amicus feels his heart pounding in his chest. He's provoked. Well, not even from, oh my god, not even from anger from the parents, maybe just annoyance, yet the expression had been terrifying. Seeing Marco twist and contort in such a way was unnerving, sure, but the parents had meant to do it, and the wolf is beginning to realize why they're using Marco as a puppet. Anger and fear battle for control over the wolf, before the latter finally wins out. Remember what type of decision he might have to make. Please, there must be another way. I can't choose between these two things. There's a pause in the air, and Amicus feels his knees about to give out, preparing to throw himself at the imaginary feet of the monolithic beings. He begs until the end of time. Wolf and pride be damned. What decision do you speak of? Amicus glances up at the stars. The decision presented to Drusius, the one decided for him by mere 10 millennia ago. Amicus frowns, knowing that the parents already know what he's talking about, becoming further distressed that they're making him vocalize things that are so obvious. Oh, Amicus, don't you know the proclivity of your own people to twist in the sword, to recognize and romanticize the truth? Amicus is quiet, waiting, heart still hammering, simply feeling numb at this point. Do not rely on woven myth to inform you of parental intention. Only we will speak the truth to you. Amicus lets out a little growl, anger overcoming fear again. Then what is it? Why torment me like this? Several moments of silence pass by, and Amicus growls again, frustrated at the way he's being treated. How his emotions are being manipulated and sculpted like the mound of clay. This isn't what he'd been taught at all. Had his father known the parents to be like this? His grandfather? Amicus wishes they had been warned somehow. As the silence drags on, the wolf tries to deaden his emotions, to not giving these entities any sort of hint as to what he might be feeling, wanting to refuse his blanket attack on his own agency, despite how futile he knows it might be. You can bring back your lover. At this very moment time stands nearly to be your... Oh my god. You can still bring back your lover. At this very moment time stands nearly still on your plane. Marco's body and mind are still salvageable. Amicus' heart felt as though it might leap from his mouth, his hold on Marco tightening. How? But only if you submit yourself to the benevolent will of the parents. Will you? Amicus furrows his brow in confusion, unsure of what this all could mean. But I've already done so. Ever since I was a pup, we've been told to... After this experience, your mind will waver. You are unsure as to what our intentions truly are. There will be moments in which you will want to question, to doubt our will. You must overcome such moments. Our will is what is best for the Calassians and the universe as a whole. Amicus stares for a moment. And if I don't agree? Then we shall let the human pass on, as he naturally should. And we shall wait for our future emperor to take your place. Amicus shakes his head, not wanting to believe this is true, and that this is the way that the leaders of the Calassians function. It must be done. The wolf is quiet, for once wishing that he isn't in such a position, wishing that he could hide away in the quiet countryside with his human to live a normal life. That is not your calling. It never was. I know. Amicus whispers, more to himself than the parents. There's a long moment of silence in which Amicus simply stares at the space, contemplating what it means to give up any true freedom, to submit himself to the absolute authority of the galaxy. Will you submit? Amicus takes a deep breath. Will my decision affect Marco's free will? You said you had plans for him as well. He will be allowed to make his own decisions. We will tell you of his mission once you make your decision. Amicus stiffens on the ground, hating that his human is being forced into this as well. Will you submit? Amicus closes his eyes, feeling his anger and resilience slowly drain away. Then he opens them. I submit. Blue light swirls in front of my eyes in intricate, spiraling tendrils. It's beautiful, and I begin to focus. I see a blurry and gray shape in the middle of it all. Even before I'm fully able to see him, I know it's my wolf. I smile and reach up, cupping at the warm, furry form. At some point in this little journey, I stop caring about whether the things I see are real or not. I'm just happy that I'm seeing him. He smiles down at me. Hey. Hey. I lie quietly in his arms for a while, just to join the comforting blue glow. I'm reminded of when I first met Amicus, when our ship stalled out in a blue dust cloud, when he finally revealed to me his botched plan. That feels so distant now, like it was years ago, rather than just months. I take a deep breath, and something about it feels strange, almost like something mechanical is moving in my neck. I reach up, touching my fingers to my throat, and for a moment, they brush against something that feels like thin line of flesh. Amicus reaches down to move my hand away, pressing it to my chest instead. You're alright. You're going to be fine now. What? That's when I also realized that my voice sounds strange. It still sounds like me, but there's something slightly off about it, like it's a little higher, maybe even just a little robotic. I frown. Amicus presses against my chest firmly, comforting. It's okay. I know it might feel a bit strange, but you won't even notice it after a few days. What is he talking about? Again, I lay quietly in his arms as I gather my thoughts. The fight, the dagger, the darkness, the parents. Then I look up at Amicus a question. What happened? I try to ignore the strange, soundless, mechanical clicking feeling in my throat, while also trying to get used to my voice. It's like hearing myself on the recording, just not quite right. Amicus chuckles, sounding exhausted, relieved, and maybe even a little sad at the same time. Quite a bit happened, Marco. But the parents, I thought they wanted us to meet them. Amicus' gentle smile wavers for a moment. Well, they did. I met them. What? I don't remember. I rack my memory, but nothing comes to mind. You lost consciousness when it happened. I frown at that, wondering why that would happen, but Amicus doesn't offer an explanation. I look down at my chest, and instead of the coating of blood I expect to see, I'm clean and bare, aside from a few small wet spots on my chest. I suppose Amicus had been a bit more emotional before waking up. I look back at him, then press my face against his body as he responds by hugging me close to his chest for a moment. So it's over? They decided to bring me back? My voice is muffled against his fur. My strange, not quite right voice. Amicus loses his hold on me, allowing me to look back up at his face. Yes, it's over. The tension that I held in my chest ever since I arrived, ever since being abducted from my bedroom in Italy, it all releases slowly. For once, I feel light and free as I sag in the wolf's arms, sighing deeply. Even now, I'm starting to get used to the new feelings in my throat. I love you. I love you too. I smile at him, and despite everything being over, I can't help but notice that he seems a bit sad too. I rest a hand against his chest. You alright? Amicus laughs loudly, shaking my entire body. Aside from nearly losing everything I hold dear, I suppose I'm alright, yes. I try to sit up, but Amicus keeps me reclining gently but firmly. You sure? You seem upset. Bigwell sighs deeply, and I feel his torso puff out against my side and shoulder. There are things I must tell you, but later. It's not important right now. That tension that had been so mercilessly loosened in my chest suddenly appears again, albeit in a much smaller way. I want to ask more, but for now, I just want to rest. Well, as long as I'm not going to pass out and wake up completely confused again, I feel like that's all I've been doing the past month. Lucas hubs with amazement. And amusement. Yes, you do have a knack for such things. We go quiet again, and it's a nice kind of quiet. We both just basking in the peaceful aftermath of our months-long struggle. After a while, though, my wolf meets my eyes again. Marco? Yes, Amicus? I'm sorry. Sorry? For everything. For taking you from your planet, for involving you in Adastra politics, for acting as if I knew better. Even if it was part of the parents' plan, it doesn't make it right. And I'm sorry. Plan? He lets out a small, tired laugh, shaking his head. Again, I'll tell you later. Let's just be together for now. I nod in agreement, ignoring the clicks in my neck, clinging to my will, have them to be in this quiet little corner of the universe, undisturbed by politics, mad emperors, and monolithic space entities. Oh my gosh! Oh, okay. Oh, this is by far the longest recording session of Adastra that I've done. This is a very good stopping point. Actually, I should have stopped when we got the bad ending and decided to pick it up the next time. But I'm actually glad that we did this journey here to see that we're back on the path. No pun intended. And that was a lot. That was a whole lot to take in. Even more so than the previous episodes that I've done. Oh my gosh. Whew. But yeah, this is a good stopping point. Oh, I'm proud of myself. Proud of myself just a little bit for pushing through that, even though that was a little bit. I've been a little bit tired, but I ate through it. I was invested all the way. Still continue to be invested, and I'm wondering what's going to happen now. How things are going to progress from here on out. So it feels like we're now approaching the end. And so a lot more questions are on our minds. What's going to happen now? What's the mission that these parents have given Marco? Not only brought him back to life, what's going to happen on Adastra now? And all that will probably be revealed in the next part. And so thank you all so much for watching. If you like what you saw, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, share with your family, subscribe to my channel, check out all the other content that I've done. Make sure to add me on Blue Sky, add me on Twix, add me on DeviantArt, add me on Steam, add me on Twitch, add me on all kinds of stuff. And so, this is Master Guil, and I'll see you on the next part of Adastra.